What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today it is my pleasure to present to you with the new meta in rocket launcher DPS. With Ghost of the Deep now in the Rite of the 9 rotation, the new variant of the Cold Comfort has been made available. And if you were thinking that you were all set on this rocket launcher's god roll, you thought wrong, because this new variant offers unique perk combinations that enhance this weapon's ability to dish out damage, and you're not going to find those on the old version. One of the biggest differences between the new and old versions of the Cold Comfort is that the new version can be enhanced and even ADEPT, providing extended benefits to any of its perks and base stats. With the new Cold Comfort, you're able to get multiple perk options to drop, giving you much more versatility out of this weapon and saving you vault space. There's even a really cool holofoil version of this new Cold Comfort, so there's a lot of reasons to get on Destiny right now and farm for this. Just like the Heresy Vengeance, this is an aggressive framed rocket launcher, so its projectiles deal more damage, but you're also getting increased recoil. In terms of base stats, there's no difference between the two versions of Cold Comfort, and as far as magazine and barrel options go, I find the combination of confined launch and alloy casing to be much more beneficial. This way we're getting increased blast radius and even increased reload speed. We would ideally like to see a velocity masterwork, and I've always found quick grip to be the best weapon mod to use with rocket launchers. This way you'll gain increased ready speed whenever swapping over to the Cold Comfort, allowing you to get your shots off faster and more accurately. The Cold Comfort has always been looked at as a strong option in terms of damage output, and that had a lot to do with its origin trait called Restoration Ritual. This grants an emergency reload after you've performed a finisher, so whenever your magazine goes empty, you'll have an extra projectile automatically loaded in. Gravity Well is also an available origin trait, but I find this to be a much less beneficial trait to use with this weapon. The old version of Cold Comfort prospered from the combination of Envious Assassin and Bait and Switch. Envious Assassin would overflow this weapon's magazine to as many as 3 projectiles, with Bait and Switch providing as much as an 8-second damage bonus of 30%. But to trigger that bonus, you would need to deal damage with all 3 of your weapons, which means you don't get the bonus damage until after you've landed the first projectile. You'd get a max of 4 shots off all at once, but after that, you're left reloading. And since we have to swap back between all of our weapons, we're not going to be able to take advantage of our damage bonuses nearly as efficiently. In a recent damage test against the Ogre in Grasp of Avarice, the old version of Cold Comfort puts out about 1.38 million points of damage, and that's with 1 reserve mod, 2 reloader mods, and 2 stasis surge mods. But since we have to go through other weapons and reload several times, it takes us nearly the entire damage phase to deal that damage. But if we take our new version of Cold Comfort, we can raise the bar and get our damage up over 1.5 million points of damage, and we'll be able to deal that damage out faster, giving us enough time to deal damage with our other weapons. This new version of Cold Comfort offers Tracking Module, Envious Arsenal, Perpetual Motion, Impulse Amplifier, Reconstruction, and Rhyme Stealer as third column options, with Chill Clip, Bait and Switch, Explosive Light, Sword Logic, Bipod, and Elemental Honing as fourth column options. There's no Envious Assassin, so if we want to overflow our magazine beyond what our origin trait does, then we need to go with Reconstruction. This way we can get a max of 2 projectiles right into the mag. And when we're not using the Cold Comfort, we'll have 1 projectile loaded directly into the mag every 5.5 seconds. We have a lot of strong damage perks to pair with Reconstruction. Chill Clip is an option, but I would put that more into the category of champion duties, and Ad Clear. Bait and Switch gives us that 30% bonus in damage that we talked about before, but with the enhanced version, we'll get 11 seconds. But when it's used against the same Ogre boss with the same variables, we're dealing less than 1.3 million points of damage with Bait and Switch, and that's with Envious Arsenal. Explosive Light gives us an extra 25% bonus in impact and explosive damage, but Elemental Honing is the perk that really raises the bar for the Cold Comfort's damage potential. As you deal damage with different elemental sources, you will build up a stacking damage bonus that can last for as long as 23 seconds. So the more types of energy that you utilize, the more damage that you'll be able to deal. This starts as a 2.5% increase, but by the time you get to the maximum threshold, you're dealing 35% bonus damage. We were able to test this out with Reconstruction, and when going into most damage phases, we were at the 3rd tier, which provided a 20% bonus in damage with the first projectile, but all of the rest were dealing 30% bonus damage, and that allowed us to exceed 1.53 million points of damage. And since we never had to swap over to our other weapons, we were able to deal out that damage with a few seconds left in the damage phase. So if we could manage to go into a damage phase already at maximum stacks of elemental honing, we're looking at upwards of 2 million points of damage out of this new variant. Even more if we used 3 weapon surge mods instead of just 2. So there's no argument here that the new Cold Comfort with elemental honing has much more potential than the old version, and much more potential than Bait and Switch and Explosive Light have. And I think Reconstruction is ultimately the best and most reliable option that we have to pair with elemental honing. And that's really beneficial for new players and free-to-play players, because now everyone will have a great top-tier option for rocket launcher damage, which is great to have going into all the new Edge of Fate content. But what are your thoughts about this new Cold Comfort? Let us know down below. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated, and both really do help support the channel. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.